For more free videos, go to zeroxbilliards.com. All the videos are organized so learning the game of pool has never been easier. From fundamentals to kicking, banking, breaking, and cue ball control, we have all the videos you need to supercharge your game. In this video, I'm going to show you a great drill for quickly improving your break shot, whether the game is 8-ball or 9-ball. One reason many players don't practice their break shot is the amount of time it takes to set up the rack for each shot. Since most players have a limited amount of practice time, setting up the rack for each break tends to eat up a lot of time. So what happens is that the player doesn't spend as much time as they should practicing their break shot. So without sufficient practice time, the player's break shot is inconsistent, resulting in weak breaks or loss of cue ball control. If there's one shot in pool that requires practice, it's the break shot, since it becomes more difficult to control the cue ball once a player starts ramping up their speed. The key to any good break shot, whether it's 9-ball or 8-ball, is to transmit all of the cue ball's energy to the rack of balls. For instance, in this break, I've struck the one ball full, which transmits all of the cue ball's energy to the rack, which kills the cue ball's momentum. But what usually happens with many players is that once they start ramping up their speed when breaking, their cue ball accuracy starts to suffer, and they usually end up not striking the one ball full. This usually causes a much weaker spread of the balls and loss of cue ball control. When playing in leagues or tournaments, it's essential that you know two things about your break. Number one, you need to know your true break speed. This is the maximum speed at which you can break the balls while still retaining control of the cue ball. And number two, you need to know your true aim on power breaks. And we'll be discussing this in a bit, but this essentially means fine-tuning your aim on power breaks to regain control of the cue ball, which results in better table spreads. So the first thing we're going to do in this video is to try and find your true break speed. And before we begin, it may help to have a speed app like this, which is made by Predator. This app records the actual speed of the break, which will make it a bit easier to fine-tune your break speed. When you perform this drill, you won't be using a full rack of balls. We're only going to place one ball on the spot to represent the rack. This will allow the player to quickly go through several break shots in the time it takes to rack the balls, which will help maximize the player's practice time. So place an object ball on the spot, then place the cue ball in your normal break position on the table. So if you normally break from this area, go ahead and place the cue ball in this location. In this exercise, I'm going to place the cue ball along the side rail in my normal 9-ball break position. I'm now going to perform a series of break shots to find my true break speed. In order to find your true break speed, start off with a much lower speed, about half of what your normal break speed is. The goal on these shots is to minimize any cue ball movement after striking the object ball. A little movement is fine, but too much movement, like this, means you didn't strike the object ball full. If you're losing control of the cue ball, keep taking your speed down until you get your cue ball under control. Also, if you're striking the object ball and your cue ball is rolling forward, try reshooting the shot at the same speed, but aim just a little lower on the cue ball. If you're striking the object ball and the cue ball is drawing backward, keep the speed the same but start aiming a little higher. The key to this drill is locking in your speed first, then fine-tuning where you need to aim on the cue ball. So according to the break app, my speed is around 10 miles per hour. At this speed, I have full control of the cue ball, which results in little if any movement after striking the object ball. After several successful break shots, I'm now going to gradually start ramping up my break speed. The next few shots will be at a faster break speed, around 15 miles an hour. Once again, the goal is to limit the amount of cue ball movement. When performing this drill, make sure you really take your time aiming. Another benefit of this type of exercise is that it trains you how to keep your break speed consistent, and learning the subtle differences between a break shot of 10 miles an hour and a break shot of 15 miles an hour. So at around 15 miles an hour, I'm still able to control the cue ball. Now I'm going to start increasing the speed to around 17 miles an hour. At this speed, it becomes a little more work to kill the cue ball. Really take your time aiming. It's important that you're aiming to strike the object ball as full as possible. You'll want to perform several successful break shots in a row before moving on. Now we're going to ramp the speed up to around 19 or 20 miles an hour. At this speed, there is much more cue ball movement. Trying to strike the object ball full becomes much more difficult. It may help to put a pillow against the cushion, just to make sure the object ball doesn't fly out the table. So after several attempts, it's clear that at this speed I'm losing control of the cue ball, which will result in weaker breaks and possibly scratching. If you're using a speed app, make sure you write down at what speed you start to lose control of the cue ball. At 17 miles an hour, I'm still able to control the cue ball. So 17 miles an hour is the maximum speed at which I'm still able to control the cue ball. So this would be my true break speed. Once you know your true break speed, make sure you spend some time practicing this speed so you can burn it into your memory. If you're in a tournament match, especially in a 9-ball tournament, this is the speed you'll want to start breaking at. If you're having success at this speed, then there's no reason to increase your speed and possibly losing control of the cue ball. Many professional players slow their break shot way down, especially when playing 9-ball on a bar table. If they can pocket balls at this slow speed, they'll have much better control over the cue ball's path, and they may even start playing position on their first ball on the break. Another advantage is that they can use their shooting cue instead of their break cue. And when working with students, once we find their true break speed, even though it's less speed than their normal break shot, they soon find that they're getting better table spreads with much better cue ball control. Next, we're going to find their true aim on power breaks. For example, I'm now going to go back to breaking at 19 and 20 miles per hour, even though my cue ball control suffers at this speed. But this time when I perform the break shot at this speed, I'm going to monitor the path the cue ball takes after contact with the object ball. So after several break shots at this speed, the cue ball struck the left side rail off the object ball almost 100% of the time. What this tells me is that when I attempt this power break, I have a tendency to miss-hit the cue ball slightly, sending it to the left side of the object ball. And this is true for almost any player when they attempt power breaks. Their cue ball will usually favor one side or another. It may not be 100% of the time, but more times than not, it will head toward one specific rail. This time when I aim toward the object ball, I'm going to aim to strike the right side of the ball. Since my cue ball has a tendency to go off course slightly to the left, this time when I break, I should be striking the object ball more full. And it may take a few times until you fine-tune where you need to strike the object ball and where you need to aim on the cue ball. But it shouldn't take that long to start getting your cue ball under control. Once your cue ball is under control, make note of this aiming adjustment. What's great about this exercise is that it allows a player to quickly practice their break shot without having to rack the balls. When practicing this break drill, make sure you really spend time on developing a feel for your true break speed. After a while, you should be able to repeat this speed over and over again. Performing this drill, even for 10 or 15 minutes every time you practice pull, will drastically improve your cue ball control on the break shot. To watch more free videos like this one, we set up a page that is filled with free videos covering every aspect of pool. All the free videos are organized by topic, so learning this great game of pool has never been easier. I put a link in the description that takes you directly to this webpage.